Goliath's Nest. Chapter 3, Echoes of Subspace. Dr. Alara Vance sat before the holo display, eyes flicking over cascading data streams as the laboratory's ambient lights hummed low. The lab was carved into basalt beneath Moon Gamma's thin atmosphere, consoles anchored to rock walls, modular equipment racks humming with cooling vents. Outside the reinforced viewport, the grayish terrain lay quiet under a pale sun, but inside, tension crackled like static. Alara tapped a sequence to isolate the latest sensor logs. Since the skirmish in orbit, she had warned Julius repeatedly, Planet X's unique subspace field was growing unstable. Now the data confirmed her fears. A sudden fluctuation in the field's resonance pattern pulsed through the readings, visible as jagged oscillations across multiple frequency bands. Unusual spike at 0.37 seconds offset, she murmured, voice taut. She zoomed in. The waveform revealed a repeating subpattern, a coded signature unlike random noise. Her pulse quickened. She had seen similar patterns in ancient relic recordings, but never with such intensity. If left unchecked, these oscillations could cascade, destabilizing local space-time geometry. Her assistant, Dr. Tarek Shin, hovered nearby. Alara, these readings, are they consistent with the precursor mechanism theory? Or could it be natural resonance amplified by our activities here? Alara leaned back, fingers hovering above the console. It matches the resonance profile we saw in the relic chamber on Delta's moon. But the amplitude is orders of magnitude higher. Something awakened that mechanism more fully, possibly our mining or defense arrays interacting with the field. She swiped the holo display to overlay recent structural activity, mining drills, energy harvesters, orbital defense emissions. Correlation suggests our systems may feed back into the subspace field, but I need to confirm causation. Tarek frowned. If so, we could be inadvertently accelerating instability. But if we power down systems, we risk undermining the nest's viability and invite Unity's accusations of incompetence or sabotage. Alara exhaled. The dilemma felt suffocating: reveal preliminary findings and risk panic or censure, or continue discreet research and hope to avert disaster before it became visible to others. She recalled Julius's earlier directive: prioritize mission, avoid alarming colonists until we have certainty. But now certainty edged closer, and delayed warning could cost thousands of lives. She tapped a secure channel, encrypt and send summary to her Unity contact. Tarek, monitor these new resonance spikes in real time. I'll send a distilled report. If Unity can corroborate from their probes, we might build a joint response. She hesitated, then pressed send. The encrypted packet vanished into transit, risking exposure by internal Goliath monitors, but she trusted that Unity scientists would act responsibly. A console alert interrupted, priority comm from Julius. Her heart tightened. Alara, send me status. I'm in council session but need your assessment. She opened a private comm window, summarizing: significant subspace resonance increase matching relic signature, potential feedback from operations, urgent need for deeper analysis. Julius acknowledged, proceed discreetly. Update me if immediate threat. Seek Unity cooperation if safe. His brevity conveyed both trust and the burden he carried. Alara recalled when she first encountered the relic resonance. The corridors had been narrow, walls lined with unfamiliar glyphs that glowed faintly. Alara remembered the hush that fell over the team as they descended into the subterranean chamber, the air recycled, lights dimmed to protect delicate ancient structures, only headlamps piercing the gloom. There, a circular dais framed by metallic pillars, etched with patterns that pulsed in time with her heart. Instruments detected low-frequency oscillations, echoes of subspace resonance unlike any natural phenomenon recorded in solar system databases. At that moment, excitement had surged, proof of precursor civilization manipulating subspace to perhaps power vast technologies. Yet unease had followed swiftly. The readings hinted at stored energy, potentially dangerous if inadvertently triggered. She had voiced caution then: we must understand the safety protocols before activation. Others had pressed for deeper probing, driven by curiosity and promise of groundbreaking discoveries. She remembered the look in Julius's eyes, determination to harness whatever power lay here for Goliath's advantage and humanity's future. That idealism must be tempered by restraint, she had thought. Now, in the present lab, the resonance echoed again, having been amplified by the nest's growth. The memory reminded her of the original warning: once awakened, the field may not rest. She shivered, aware that the past choice to explore had set in motion forces beyond simple control. Commander Arden sat before a holoscreen in Unity's analysis center, reviewing incoming encrypted data. The packet from Dr. Vance appeared amidst other signals, a sign that someone inside Goliath was willing to risk Unity's scrutiny. He felt a surge of cautious optimism. Cooperation rooted in shared survival could bridge divides. He activated the transmission. The data described spiking subspace resonance patterns around Planet X consistent with relic interference. Arden convened a private briefing with Dr. Soren, Unity's leading relic specialist, and senior science officers. Precursor resonance patterns matching Goliath's description have been faintly detected by our deep space probes, but magnitude was uncertain, Arden said. He overlaid Unity probe data with Vance's logs. Look here. At T-48 hours, resonance amplitude rose sharply, likely due to recent Goliath operations or an external trigger. If unchecked, might propagate through subspace conduits and affect intersystem communications or even orbital stability. Dr. Soren nodded gravely. Matches theoretical models, a threshold effect. Once local field amplification crosses critical value, feedback loop can cascade. Could distort space-time locally, causing structural failures in habitats or disrupting navigation relays. Worst case, chain reaction extending inward, threatening major installations. Arden's jaw tightened. We need real-time access to Goliath's sensor network and computational resources to model intervention strategies. I propose a joint analysis task force, limited Unity teams embedded in Goliath labs, with secure data-sharing protocols. He paused. Aware of political minefields, hardliners in Unity would resist aiding an entity they deem rebellious. Goliath leaders might suspect infiltration. Dr. Soren added, time is short. If Goliath delays, the window for safe intervention narrows. We could propose remote joint simulations first, then physical collaboration if trust holds. Arden agreed. He drafted a secure communique to Julius, offer joint scientific cooperation, emphasize urgency, but underscore respect for Goliath's sovereignty. He included a discreet caution: Unity monitoring will ensure transparency, but intent is mutual survival, not political leverage, though he knew Unity Council might see it differently. He sent the message through encrypted quantum channel, labeled Emergency, Subspace Resonance. As the transmission departed, he reflected, this crisis might force Unity, or shatter it irrevocably if mistrust prevailed. He prepared to monitor responses closely. Ilara revisited a quieter memory. Months earlier, working late in the lab, she and her colleague Dr. Kavita Singh had tested a prototype resonator intended to probe relic fields safely. Kavita had been enthusiastic, but when the device emitted an unexpected pulse, minor structural tremors rattled the lab. Ilara had ordered an immediate shutdown. Kavita had argued for another test run, convinced the anomaly was manageable. The pulse intensified and briefly disrupted nearby systems. In the aftermath, Kavita's implant interface glitched, causing a medical emergency that left her incapacitated for weeks. Ilara blamed herself, her caution belated, her decision to continue tests undermined by bureaucratic pressure to show results. The memory surfaced now, painful, the price of ambition. She realized that the current resonance spikes might stem from cumulative tests and unanticipated interactions across multiple sites. Guilt coiled in her chest. She had failed to insist on stronger safety margins earlier. Now the stakes far exceeded one lab incident. Back in the lab, Tarek approached Ilara with updates. We traced another anomaly spike to a recent orbital defense test on Moon Beta. Resonance peaked minutes after the pulse arrays discharged. It seems our defensive measures feed into the same subspace network as the relic mechanism. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Then every defensive action risks exacerbating instability. We must recalibrate protocols, limit pulse power, adjust frequency to avoid resonance overlap. But we cannot compromise defense entirely. She paused, weighing options. Inform security. All future tests require subspace resonance clearance from lab. Delay any non-critical defense drills until we model safe parameters. And send updated guidelines to other bases. Tarek hesitated. This will frustrate military command. They may see it as weakening defenses, especially after the skirmish. Alara nodded, resolute. Document the necessity. Potential systemic collapse outweighs tactical readiness. Prepare a concise report for Julius emphasizing survival imperative. She opened a secure channel to Julius's private line and summarized, defense protocols modified to limit resonance feedback, awaiting your approval to enforce globally. She then sent a parallel, encrypted alert to Arden. We confirm interference between defense pulses and subspace field. Urgent recalibration required. She hoped Julius and Arden would align on safety measures despite political friction. Arden received Alara's follow-up. He immediately forwarded key points to his advisory circle. Goliath confirms our suspicions. Defense arrays amplify subspace instability. We must advise them to adjust protocols. But how do we frame this to Goliath leadership? Too blunt, and they see infiltration. Too vague, and they ignore risk. He convened a meeting with Unity's strategic officer. We propose, send a joint technical directive, co-signed by Unity and Goliath scientific authorities, recommending immediate protocol changes. Emphasize shared risk. Offer remote modeling assistance before sending personnel. This preserves Goliath autonomy while injecting Unity expertise. The strategic officer frowned. Council hardliners will accuse us of ceding advantage. They'll argue Goliath may use instability as a weapon, a false flag to weaken Unity. We need guardrails, require transparency logs access, and a verification mechanism. Arden sighed. We must balance trust with verification. Propose a peer review committee, half Goliath scientists, half Unity, with encrypted oversight. If Goliath refuses, we escalate pressure, but that risks pushing them away when cooperation is most critical. The officer nodded reluctantly. Arden prepared the joint directive, aware that each clause carried political weight. He appended a personal note to Julius. We seek genuine collaboration to prevent catastrophe. Trust but verify together. In his private quarters, Julius remembered why he relied on Alara so deeply. Early in the expedition, when minor anomalies first appeared, it was Alara who insisted they investigate thoroughly, overriding his initial desire to focus on resource surveys. He recalled a late-night conversation in the lab, Alara's quiet urgency, showing him preliminary data suggesting subspace quirks. At the time, he valued her integrity but thought the risk manageable. After all, discoveries required pushing boundaries. Now he realized her caution had been prescient, but he also felt guilt. Had he prioritized ambition over safety? He resolved to support her recommendations fully, even if it meant reining in defense protocols and risking internal dissent. He keyed a secure message, Alara, implement recalibration. I back you. Communicate to defense leads accordingly. Arrange secure link with Unity experts. He sent it, aware that backing Unity collaboration might alarm hardliners, but trusting that survival was paramount. Late in the lab, a junior engineer, Soren, not to be confused with Unity's Dr. Soren, approached Alara hesitantly. Dr. Vance, I've heard whispers some officers resent limiting defense tests. They think we become vulnerable to Unity interference. He glanced around. Some suggest we should conceal the recalibration to maintain perceived strength. His voice lowered. I worry they may override your protocols secretly. Alara's chest tightened. Report any such moves immediately. We must maintain integrity of safety measures. If they override, they endanger everyone, including themselves. I'll inform Julius and security. We can't allow rogue tests. She placed a hand on his shoulder. Thank you for speaking up. We'll protect your anonymity. Trust that doing the hard thing now prevents worse chaos later. Soren nodded, relief and anxiety mingling in his expression. Alara logged the conversation in her secure notes. Potential internal resistance flagged for Julius's audit team. In deep space beyond Planet X's outer moons, a Unity unmanned probe transmitted sporadic resonance data back to Resolute. Arden monitored the feed, Probe indicates subspace oscillations intensifying near defense grid nodes. Pattern matches Goliath lab reports. He overlaid trajectory data, suggests feedback loop centered on specific frequency ranges used in pulse arrays. He relayed findings to Alara via secure channel. He reflected on the irony, Unity and Goliath scientists converging on the same solution while political factions eyed each other warily. He drafted a brief for Unity Council, recommend urgent focus on technical risk mitigation, strategic patience in political maneuvering to maintain collaboration. He knew council debate would be fierce. Some would argue use of this crisis to force Goliath capitulation. Others warn that politicizing science now risks mutual destruction. Arden braced for the coming deliberations, but felt a measure of hope. When lives and survival overshadow ambition, cooperation could emerge if both sides held fast to reason. Unseen by all, deep within Goliath's network logs, a subtle anomaly lingered. A masked data packet suggesting someone had attempted to alter resonance data prior to Alara's discovery, perhaps to understate risk or delay action. The identity remained obscured by layered encryption. Alara had not detected it yet. This hidden thread would soon surface, testing the trust between Alara, Julius, and Unity. For now, the lab's urgency focused on stabilization, but a specter of betrayal hovered beneath. Late that cycle, Alara and Arden met via encrypted hololink. The image wavered as subspace distortions intermittently affected long-range comm, reminding both of the urgency. Alara, Arden began. Unity Council is drafting the joint directive. Hardliners push restrictions, insist on oversight teams and data access. I advocate framing it as mutual survival measure. Will Goliath accept that? Alara's expression was resolute but tense. I have Julius's backing for recalibration protocols. He understands the stakes. Hardliners inside Goliath may resist, so we need Unity's peer review support discreetly. If Unity pushes transparency too aggressively, our internal factions will claim it as intrusion. The directive must stress respect for Goliath's autonomy while offering technical aid. Arden nodded. Understood. I'll adjust language. Joint task force of equal standing, data sharing limited to specific resonance models, encrypted under dual control keys. Political demands withheld until after stabilization. He paused, concern in his eyes. Time is short. If sabotage emerges among your ranks, we need to know before field worsens. Alara inhaled. I've flagged potential internal resistance. Julius is initiating an audit. I'll alert you if we confirm tampering. Trust between us must be absolute now. Arden's holographic avatar inclined. Agreed. We'll proceed with cautious optimism. The link wavered, then steadied as they signed off. After the hololink closed, Alara sat alone in her lab's observation alcove, gazing at Planet X's silhouette against star-streaked space. The resonance patterns she studied echoed in her mind like a faint heartbeat of an ancient leviathan. She recalled Kavita's accident, the relic chamber's warnings, Julius's ambition, and now the fragile collaboration with Unity. Her inner voice whispered, "We stand at the edge of unknown power. If we succeed, we save countless lives and forge new Unity. If we fail or someone betrays us, this nest becomes tomb and crucible of folly." She touched the lab console, initiating deep archival logs to track any anomalies in data access, determined to uncover hidden tampering before it cost more than lives. She ended the log with a resolve: proceed with integrity. Protect the nest not only from external threats, but from shadows within. Let knowledge guide, not ambition blind. Outside, the lab's lights dimmed as the moon's night advanced, but inside, her vigil continued, guarding the echo of subspace that might yet shape destiny. End of Chapter 3.